And now, an unusual coalition of House Democrats and House Republicans have signed onto a letter that presses their new Speaker, Paul Ryan, to schedule a war authorization debate as soon as possible, worrying the fight against ISIS could drag on for years. Two of those members who have signed on to that letter join me now. California Democrat John Garamendi and Montana Republican Ryan Zinke. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you.
Great to be with you, Chuck.
Congressman Garamendi, I'll start with you. Do you believe the current war against ISIS is legal?
There's a very serious question as to the legality of it. Lawyers will argue everything, but the fact of the matter is they're basing it on a 2001 authorization to use force in Afghanistan against al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and related organizations. This situation that's currently playing out in Iraq and in Syria is really significantly and fundamentally different, and in my view requires a new authorization to use force. Congress has that constitutional responsibility. We ought to carry it out.
Congressman Zinke, I asked Paul Ryan this on his first full day as Speaker. The President announced those 50 special forces, and I said, you know, do you feel as if Congress needs to weigh in on this? And he was hesitant. And I can tell you this, leadership on both sides of the aisle, they're the ones that are running from this issue. How are you going to convince Speaker Ryan to do this?
Well, as a former SEAL commander, this is the way I see it, is I think the President does have the authority, but what's the plan? My concern when you put 50 special operations troops into harm's way, one, will it make a difference? I don't think 50 individuals is going to make a difference. And are they protected? Do they have security force around them? Do they have a quick reaction force if they get in trouble? Do we have a medevac package in case they get shot? So two concerns. One is, what are they doing? And what purpose do they have as far as 50 individuals? Is it going to make a difference? Why are they there? And secondly, are we supporting them, or we're asking our troops to go into harm's way? And if we fight, we have to make sure that our troops have the right equipment, right training, and right rules of engagement to win decisively in the field of battle. If those conditions aren't met, then I think, you know, we should question it, and we need to have the debate.
Congressman Zinke, let me ask you this: how many Republicans do you think you have ready to sign onto this letter?
Well, you know, in our caucus, you know, they're obviously very pro-defense, but also I think as Americans, this isn't a Republican or a Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And I'll go back to, when we put our troops into harm's way, we got to make sure that's supported. You know, when you look at that about individuals that go in behind enemy lines, what purpose? Will it make a difference? And thus far, we don't have a plan what we're going to do in Syria. The Russian plan was submitted, not well received. We have now the Battle of Sinjar. We have yet to support the Kurds directly. So when you say it's a U.S.-led coalition, I'm not sure how much leadership the U.S. is putting into it other than airstrikes. And we've seen airstrikes alone don't have a chance of succeeding.
Congressman Garamendi, do you feel like there's pressure on Democratic leadership not to sort of speak up on your behalf?
Well, as Congressman Zinke just said, there are a lot of operational questions. There's a lot of questions about how the war would be conducted. But there is no question that we are in a war. The underlying point is it's not authorized by Congress, at least in any formal way, and in that authorization, limits or no limits would be debated and put into the authorization. For example, boots on the ground. Question that came up in the introduction to this interview. Are 50 or 10 or 20 special forces boots on the ground? Well, let's see, that's probably 20 boots. So the question arises exactly what is authorized here. Are we talking about bringing in a battalion, heavy artillery, heavy equipment, or is this going to be an airstrike and support of whom? Are we going to support the Kurds? And what is the role of Turkey? Those things need to be debated, because ultimately the taxpayers of this country are going to wind up paying for whatever it is. And we need that debate. Are the leaderships running away from it? I think they are.
Well, it's the impression I've gotten on the Senate side, and you guys are giving the same impression here on the House side. Congressman Garamendi, Democrat from California, Congressman Zinke, Republican from Montana, working together on this.
Well, you know, what's interesting is that he played for the Cal Bears, I played for the Ducks, and we both get along.
So look at that, even college football rivalries, and you guys can figure this out. Anyway, Congressman, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still ahead, what does Jeb Bush learn from the presidencies of his father and brother? Bush 41 biographer John Meacham joins me with his take.